What's going on, guys? Johnny GB here, bringing you guys a TCG deck profile. This will be a deck that I am using as of right now, and it's a deck I'm actually very happy with. Most of it's based around Sun and Moon cards. There's very few other cards, so pretty much if you can buy Sun and Moon and newer cards, you can build this deck. Now, this deck will revolve around a couple different strategies. So I will break down the first strategy for you guys, and it starts by playing 4 copies of Eevee. So this Eevee is the Energy Evolution one from Sun and Moon base set. Fix the camera here. There we go. So this Eevee, you play energy, any basic energy, and you can evolve it into that type of Eevee. So we do have 4 copies of these. Now, with these, you can go one of few directions. You can go Umbreon, Espeon, Glaceon, or what I am running in this deck, Leafeon GX. 3 copies of this. I feel like 3 is sufficient. Most of the time I am using 2. And there's a couple reasons to use Leafeon. So I'll set those 2 down here. For Leafeon, you got its ability, Breath of the Leaves. So for any grass Pokemon with a basic energy attached to it, or any grass Pokemon with energy, you can heal 50 damage from it, whether it's itself or another Pokemon on the bench. Then you have Solar Beam for 110 for a grass and a double colorless. But the main thing we're using the Leafeon for is Grand Bloom GX. So for Grand Bloom GX, for each of my bench basic Pokemon, I can evolve them to their next stage. So it's one way that if you do go second, this is a very good card to set up your field, and you can actually set up fairly efficiently. So what are we using to evolve, to use Leafeon's GX attack? Well, we're going to be going with this. 4 copies of Fomantis. So you guys will see where I'm going with this here. So Fomantis was made in Sun and Moon base set. You'll see what we're going to do here with its evolution Lurantis. Now, Lurantis has one of 2 directions it can go. It can go into the promo, or it can go into Lurantis GX. I am opting for the Lurantis promos. So these were the Guardians Rising promos alongside Serena, and we're going to be using it for its ability here, Sunny Day. So the ability Sunny Day, the attacks of my grass Pokemon do 20 more damage, along with fire Pokemon. So, I mean, you can run fire. If you need a fire tech in here, you can run a fire tech. But with 3 copies of this, now your Leafeon is now hitting 170 damage for a grass and a double colorless energy, 200 with a choice band, so that's actually very nice. But that's not the only grass type we are running in this deck. So in this deck, we are running 3 copies of Wimpod. Now, you're not going to be able to get all 3 copies of Lurantis out at the same time, so you run 3 copies of Wimpod. I might test this out, but to go along with the 3 copies of Wimpod, I have 2 Golisopod GX. For 1 energy, you're doing 30 damage, but if it's switched into the active spot this turn, it's doing 120 damage, 150 damage with a choice band. With 3 Lurantis on the bench, you are now doing 160 or 210 damage, which does take out a Zoroark for 1 energy. And since it has the same energy cost as Leafeon, grass and a double colorless, it's a great pair for this deck. And then also 1 copy of the regular Golisopod from Guardians Rising. With its ability armor, it takes 30 damage less from attacks, and Resolute Claws if your opponent's Pokemon is a GX or EX. Attack does 70 more, again 210 with Lurantis, 240 with a choice band. And then a couple other supporting cards here. Just a basic attacker, we have 2 copies of Tapu Bulu GX. So Tapu Bulu GX hits for 30 damage for 1 grass energy, but with 3 Lurantis, it's now hitting 90 for 1 energy, 120 with a Choice Band. Nature's Madness now hits 180 with without having to discard energy. So 2 copies of Tapu Bulu. And then finally, I play 1 copy of Tapu Lele, and you'll see why when we get to the trainers. Now, as for the energy, what I am playing here is 7 grass energy and 3 double colorless energy. So we're playing 10 energy in the deck. Very standard. Now we are getting on to the supporters. Let me move these out of the way. But it's so far Pokemon wise, I may cut the extra Golisopod. It does not seem to be needed at all. Now for the supporters, some of the one-ofs that I am playing. We're playing 1 copy of Acerola, so this is pretty much to pick up anything that has damage counters. Works good with Golisopod. Because I am missing Float Stones, I have 4 copies of Switch. I do want to try to get Float Stones, but right now I'm playing 4 copies of Switch. We are playing 2 copies of Bridget. This is pretty much the standard, what you want to try to get out with your Tapu Lele, because you can search for 3 basic Pokemon, throw them onto your bench. This is where you get your 3 Fomantis. You evolve them your next turn with Leafeon. Then we have the standard 4 copies of Ultra Ball. Again, just searches your Tapu Lele, searches your Tapu Bulu, anything you need. Pretty much just standard in all decks now, 4 copies of Ultra Ball. Then we play 2 copies of Max Potion because Golisopod only uses 1 energy, so this is a very good card to use with it. 2 copies of Field Blower, just to remove any items or stadiums in play. 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher. Rescue Stretcher just puts 3 Pokemon back into your deck, or 1 from my discard pile to my hand. We have 1 copy of Energy Lotto, just searches out an energy. We play 3 copies of Guzma, just to pretty much get Golisopod out very easily. This is pretty much a new staple here. We got 4 copies of Cynthia. This is just draw support needed in the deck, especially once N rotates out. 2 copies of said N. So again, just more draw support. And then just 1 copy of Sycamore, just for the additional draw support. That is pretty much what I play in this deck. If there's anything you guys want to recommend for the deck that I should try, go ahead, leave it down in the comment section below. Also, let me know any other deck profiles you guys want me to try and do, and I will bring them out for you guys. But with all that being said, I am Johnny GB, and I'm out.